Nestled within the breathtaking Chassahowitzka Wildlife Management Area, deep in the heart of West Central Florida, lies an enigmatic haven known as Eagles Nest. Underneath lies a vast underwater cave system responsible for over 10 deaths. It's the stuff of nightmares for some divers. For others, it's a dive straight out of their dreams. How did it come to be, you ask? Picture it, a sinkhole around 300 feet wide and 70 feet deep, shrouded in a green pond and hugged by a dense, swampy forest. It looks peaceful, serene even, but don't let that fool you. Beneath the murky water lies a vast, intricate cave system that stretches over 3,000 feet, plunging to depths of over 300 feet. It's a place of beauty and terror, shaped by millions of years of limestone meeting acidic groundwater. It's like stepping into another world, a world of vast chambers, tight passages, and deadly restrictions. You've got the main ballroom, a magnificent round chamber that greets you at about 130 feet deep. The pit, a haunting vertical shaft that dives to about 310 feet deep, the deepest part of the cave. And then there's the super room, a colossal chamber past the pit at 280 feet deep, a kind of grand throne room in this underwater kingdom. Take a detour and you'll find the Lips, a passage that winds its way from the main ballroom to the super room, bypassing the pit. They call it the Lips for the rock formation at its entrance that oddly resembles a pair of lips. Lastly, there's the Keyhole, a perilous restriction about 260 feet deep. It's a tiny squeeze, just about 2 feet wide and 3 feet high. Here, divers have to remove their tanks just to scrape through. Despite its allure, Eagles Nest is no playground. It's claimed many lives over the years, trapping divers in its deadly grasp due to equipment failure, decompression sickness, loss of air, or the simple yet fatal error of underestimating the beast. It's gobbled up over 13 divers since 1981, each of them drawn in by its eerie allure. Let's talk about Patrick Peacock and Chris Rittenmeyer. Both of them ace divers, instructors even. They've been to the nest before and lived to tell the tale. They aim to reach the super room, an enormous chamber beyond the pit, the very belly of the beast. They brought a buddy, Justin Blakely, with them. The plan was simple: dive in, reach the super room, and meet back with Blakely at 3 p.m. But the clock struck 3, and then 4, and then 5, and no sign of them. Blakely, poor guy, waited for 3 agonizing hours before he dialed the cops. It wasn't until the next morning that rescue divers fished out their bodies, floating like lost souls near the super room, 260 feet under. What happened? That's the million-dollar question. Their gear was fine, and there weren't any guideline issues. The costs? Still as murky as the waters they drowned in. Their story would hit any parent hard. Chris's dad, Ron Rittenmeyer, who's a diver himself, couldn't believe it. His boy, he said, was always careful. Patrick, too. They were buddies, through and through, and he reckoned that if one of them got in trouble, the other would have stuck by his side until the bitter end. Fast forward to December 25th, 2013, a day that should have been filled with joy and celebration. This one's about a father and son, Darren Spivey, and his 15-year-old boy, Dylan Sanchez. You see, Dylan had just completed his open water diving course, and his Christmas gift from his old man? A dive into Eagles Nest Sinkhole, testing out their shiny new gear. They began diving, and as the hours passed, they didn't come back. Spivey's fiancée, Holly King, felt something was wrong. The alarm bells started going off in her head, resulting in her reporting them missing. And then came the dreadful news. They found their bodies, one at 67 feet and the other at 127 feet, entangled in the treacherous web of the cave system. They drowned. Now here's the kicker. Darren, the father, was a certified diver. But did he have a separate certification for cave diving? Nope. And that's not just some fancy title, mind you. Cave diving is a whole different beast. It requires a special kind of training and a unique set of equipment. It's not a playground for novices, and his boy, Dylan, had no certification at all. But this isn't all. There's another tale that haunts the depths of Florida. The harrowing story of Charles Odom, a 55-year-old guy from Trinity. He was a cave diver, and unfortunately, he got into a grim tangle with fate on January 8th, 2017. That ill-fated Sunday, Odom, he showed up at the nest bright and early. With him was Kevin Lura, Evan May, and Christopher Jones, 3 daredevil divers. However, as luck would have it, Evan ran into some snag with his equipment and decided to hang back, while the other 3 plunged headfirst into the cave's depths through the claustrophobically narrow tunnel. Their destination? The ballroom. About half an hour late, they reached their location, Lura and Jones accompanying Odom. Suddenly, they spotted something amiss. Odom had gone lifeless in the water. No movement, no signals, just a terrifying stillness. They immediately thought, could it be a medical crisis? Perhaps an equipment failure. Time was of the essence now. With quick thinking, they started hauling their buddy back up to the surface. They had to be careful though. You can't just rush to the surface in such deep waters. They had to ascend slowly, trying to avoid the sinister clutches of the bends. Meanwhile, up above, Evan was wrestling with his gear, loading it onto his truck, completely unaware of the nightmare unfolding beneath him. That's when he saw it, Odom's motionless body bobbing on the water's surface. He rushed over, yanking Odom out of the deathly grip of the water, trying to pump life back into his comrade. But no response. Odom was unresponsive, gone. When first responders arrived, they confirmed the unthinkable. Odom had lost his life. To this day, nobody really knows what snuffed out Odom's life that day. An autopsy was performed to check if Odom was battling any health issues, any injuries that might have played a role in his untimely demise. They examined his dive gear and computer, seeking answers, clues, any sign of malfunction or misuse, but none were found. The last diver we will be talking about is that of the tragic story of said Marjan. Just 20 years old when he kissed his last breath on July 18th, 2018. Picture this. It's a sunny afternoon in Hernando County, Florida. Marjan and his pack of 5 mates had just arrived at the deadly Eagles Nest, all fired up to dive. They were on a roll, you know. They had nailed 15 to 20 dives that day, but in their last plunge, something went awfully wrong. Marjan never popped up back to the surface. He and his pal Jacob Fernandez had dived about 80 feet down when Fernandez decided to come back up. But Marjan, he was nowhere to be found. His friends frantically searched for him for over an hour before dialing 911. Later, a civilian dive team dove into the eerie silence of the depths, finding Marjan's body resting at a chilling 150 feet. They retrieved him, but it was too late. Marjan was no more. Eagles Nest, it's a magnet for divers, despite its unnerving reputation. Everywhere you look, warning signs are posted. One even features the Grim Reaper, the ominous words "Stop, prevent your death, go no further." It's meant for experienced certified cave divers with top-tier gear and solid training. Anything less, and it's a dance with death. It's a place that commands respect and caution. And the price of failure? Well, that's a chilling tale told too often.